I'm Joe Bev, and this is the Joe Bev Show. This time on the Joe Bev Show, Monty Python and the Silly King, Godot Not Home Revisited by Daws Butler, and Chapter 5 of Brute Ballingham, Private Detective, The Excruciating Hello, The Greasy Tide. That's coming up on the Joe Bev Show.
There once was a rather silly king, who lived in a very silly kingdom, and he reigned over his silly subjects. Silliest of all, no matter how many times the king told people to do things, they would never obey him.
I say, nurse, clean out my chamber pot!
Or do it yourself.
But I'm the king!
Oh, no, you're not.
Why, of course I am. Look at the crown on my head.
Oh, that's nothing. Me cousin Herbert's got a crown just like it.
No, he doesn't.
Oh, sure. Show him, Herbert.
Here it is, Bertram. What's that man doing under my bed with a chamber pot on his head?
How do I know? You're the king.
Then you admit I'm the king. No, you're not. Yes, I am. No. Why won't you listen to me? Servant, bring me my lunch.
What do I look like, a slave? Thinks I'm at his beck and call, he does.
Oh, this makes me so angry. My brain hurts. I know. I'll collect some taxes. Oh, that always cheers me up. Revenuer, gather up all the back taxes.
Well, I'm not certainly going to be the one who throws those lovely people out in the street, I can tell you. Do it yourself.
Why won't anyone listen to me?
While this king may have been silly, he was peaceful and just. He did not want to punish or imprison anyone. So he ended up with no authority.
Oh, reader. Oh, reader, what am I to do? I know. My wizard!
The wizard was the wisest man in the kingdom, and so he obeyed the king. He cast 1,000 spells.
Zoom, zooly, zoo! A wacka wacka woo! A dip dip doo! A wacka wacka woo!
And made many potions.
Why, this is terrible!
Producing some interesting results, like a fighting snail. And a dancing ant. A young man who was passing through the kingdom heard about the problem and went quickly to the palace, telling the king that he knew the solution. The king seemed excited, and the young man gave him 2 pieces of parchment with amazingly ornate and colourful writing on them.
Your Highness, these are the spells that I have prepared for you. Use the first before saying that which you want your subjects to do, and use the second when they have done it. A smile will indicate that the person remains under your power. Do this, and the spell will last forever.
Everyone in the kingdom was intrigued and curious to hear the spells, especially the king.
I've got to memorize this. Please, no, that's not right.
Before using them, he read them several times to himself, trying to memorize them. A servant was passing by, carrying a large turkey in his arms.
Please, Apollino, come here and let me see that magnificent turkey.
Apollino, surprised by the king's kindness, and never having heard him say "please" before, approached the king. The king, and everyone else there, was surprised by how effective the spell had proven. The king, after looking at the turkey with little interest, said,
"Thank you, Apollino. You may go."
And the servant left, smiling. It had worked, and even better, Apollino remained under the king's power, just as the young man had said. The grateful king festooned the young man with riches, and the young man decided to continue on his journey. But before he left, the old wizard approached him.
Pretty fancy conjuring there, boy. Don't mind asking them, where do you get your magic powers? Wouldn't mind sharing them with me, eh? Know what I mean? Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
The young man, who was nothing more than an intelligent teacher, told the wizard the truth.
My magic does not lie in those worthless parchments which I wrote on arriving at the palace. No, I got my magic from school as a child. My teacher constantly repeated that with good manners you can get anything. And he was right. Your good king only needed good manners and some politeness to get just what he wanted.
The wizard, understanding the truth of this, spent that night destroying all his contraptions and magical junk.
Well, if that's all it takes, then I'm switching to teaching etiquette. Know what I mean? Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
He replaced them with a good book on manners, ready to continue educating his blunt and impolite, silly king.
Hello there, Your Highness. Your next lesson's gonna be listening skills. Know what I mean? Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
The end. I mean, the end, please, and thank you. Damon. Yes, to so. what?
Look around you.
Yuck.
I've brought you all my fish.
All your fish?
All. All the fish. All the fish I pulled from the great sea.
Tell me about these fish. Nothing biographical. Don't bother with individual personality traits. Just some of their general characteristics.
You're referring to the fish?
I am.
Well, some of the fish, now slopping over your boots, are green.
Green?
Green. Some are red.
Green and red?
Green and red. Some are white and glisten. This is evidence of recent life.
You mean they're deceased? Passed over? Certified fertilizer fodder? You mean they're dead?
Did I say they were dead?
No.
Well then, some of the fish I cleaned and some I didn't.
How many did you clean?
All of them I didn't clean.
All?
All.
All of them you didn't clean?
Truth is essential in matters of no importance. Take the fish you want, Damon. Take 'em all. I don't want any.
Nor I. I find your gift repugnant.
I see. Oh, I neglected to tell you something, Damon.
My generous nature will absorb your oversight. Do so. I release you from any commitment.
I cannot accept such a release. I must tell you. All of the fish are mackerel.
All?
All.
Let's go back a bit, Dussault. Earlier, you referred to the fish as varied colored. Do you recall that?
I do.
Green and red are not varied colored. It is merely green and red. One additional color does not qualify for the use of the term varied colored.
Are you sure?
You could look it up. You said before that truth is essential in matters of no importance. Is your statement not unimportant enough for truth?
It is, Damon. Indeed it is.
Then I expect an immediate apology.
Of course you do. I apologize. Now take your green and red fish, Damon, and be off.
No.
No?
Mackerel are too bony for me. I can't abide bones. To me, one bone is maximum. Another thing, Dussault, have we discussed the taste of the mackerel?
Not as yet, no.
Up to now, we have ignored completely that aspect of the mackerel. Personally, I find the taste of the mackerel not casual.
Not casual? Why is the taste not casual?
Because it comes on too strong.
A pretty metaphor indeed. A darling metaphor.
Also, there is nothing about the mackerel that is exemplary.
Exemplary?
Above reproach.
Another darling metaphor.
Mackerel are reproachable all the way. The substantiation of my statement is available if you'd care to research it.
It's documented?
Did I say it was documented?
No. Is it?
Yes. So what I said is not based on personal pique.
Let's get to the mackerel.
We never left them. Their stench assaults my nostrils.
Why do you shudder?
I wish they wouldn't stare at me like that.
It's the only way they know. Their limited intelligence is incapable of variation, and I find any contemplative evaluation of their optic attention inconclusive.
True. A single word of description or concern is an extravagance.
Before, you were quibbling about bones, as if the mackerel were uneatable.
Inedible.
Uneatable, inedible. We're both saying the same thing.
You see, I was right. An extravagance, as I said.
So, what about them?
The fish.
Who gets all the fish?
You mean the mackerel?
Of course, you dunderhead. Mackerel are fish.
In a generic sense, yes.
Then who gets all the mackerel? Actually, my question was rhetorical. I had already given them all to you.
I don't want them.
You don't want them, and I don't want them.
And as the archivist of their present plight, you can't just walk away from them.
It would be shirking my responsibility.
It wouldn't be shirking my responsibility, so I'll walk away.
And what will I do?
You'll stay here, of course.
With the fish.
With the mackerel.
Mackerel are fish!
I know. Mackerel are fish, and fish are mackerel. I'm leaving now. May I send you anything?
Yes.
What?
Cats! Lots of cats!
You are listening to The Joe Bev Show. And now, Brute Ballingham, Private Detective, The Excruciating Hello, Chapter 5, The Greasy Tide. So let me tell you this story, Mulata.
Go ahead, Mr. Ballingham.
Pinky, what are you doing?
I'm opening up a can of sardines.
A can of sardines?
Yeah, you made me hungry with all this talk of pancakes and grease.
Sardines? Let me see that can. Caruso sardines, huh? That reminds me of the story I was just about to tell. The lights on the ships were fuzzy through the wet mist that creeps up out of the ocean every night, and I drove slowly, looking for the establishment of Michelangelo Caruso, the Sardine King, a new client. One side of the crooked street was nothing but the smell and sound of oily salt water sloshing through the pilings beneath the piers, and the other side was a tangle of warped, dingy buildings equipped to satisfy the thirst of reckless men who never get beyond the waterfront of any port. The foghorn out on the breakwater began to bellow as I parked near a U-shaped pier labeled Caruso Docks Private and walked past the line of moored fishing boats to a squat 2-story building. The bottom floor was dark, but the second story had lights on, so I started up the steep wooden stairs and was halfway to the top when I caught the voices. One I'd already heard over the phone when I was hired. It was my client, Michelangelo Caruso, the Sardine King.
I don't want any dumb excuses, Moose.
Keep your shirt on. The boys are stubborn, that's all.
All right, the Moose. But you make them jump, or I'll get somebody who can. These boats got to be handled faster. Why, even the crook, Johnny Wilbur, was better on this job than you are.
Johnny Wilbur? Why, I oughta... Hey, get out of my way.
The big guy with the lantern jaw shoved past me and stomped down the stairs, so I went on up into the office. Michelangelo Caruso looked like a block of concrete, his 225 thick pounds hunched over a scarred roll-top desk, and as I walked in, he swung a heavy bulldog head around and glared at me.
You never heard of a knocking first, I guess? You boring hammer.
That's right. The moose that just left here got me all out of the mood for courtesy.
Yes, that's a Moose. He's my crew pusher.
Yeah, pusher, all right. Push me out of the way.
He's a good man, but a little slow. Come here. Sit down. We got out of the business. Have a drink? A cognac.
Thanks. I'm a granddad man, but I will.
Now, There's a hot-headed punk by the name of Johnny Wilbur.
I know Johnny Wilbur. He used to work for Manny Putskin.
Yeah, well, I sent him to prison 3 years ago for stealing money from me. I made it as tough as I could for him.
Any special reason why?
Sure, because I trust a fellow who works for me. Johnny Wilbur used to have a moose's job, but he took advantage of me. When the police, they grabbed him, and they found the money, my money in his own house, he squealed like a cow.
You mean like a pig?
That's right, he mooed like a pig.
Yeah, whatever.
What do I know from pigs and the cows? I only know about the sardines.
Yeah, and you smell like them, too.
Thank you.
Go on.
And he said that he was afraid, like all cheap punks do.
How does this get around to you wanting a private investigator?
Because Johnny Wilbur is out of prison. He got out yesterday on parole, and he's back in town now. Hey, you, what are you looking at?
Your clock. How come it says 11:30 at 20 to 8?
Well, it's electric. It was turned off last night, and I didn't start it again. I didn't start it again until just a few minutes ago. I gotta reset the time.
I see.
Now look, I was here with Giles Edwards, and when he heard some noises on my private launch out there, he went down to see what it was all about, and...
Who's Giles Edwards?
My general manager. While he was gone, the lights went out in here. That's when I got clubbed on the head. When I went down, and I got kicked around. Plenty. I'd be killed right now, but the moose happened to come along, and, the guy was scared off of me.
Well, did you happen to see who it was?
No, but Giles Edwards did. He got a good look. He admitted it. Only he claims he don't know who it was. But he lies, on account of he's an old friend of Johnny Wilbur's.
Well, maybe Edwards isn't lying. What makes you so certain that it was Johnny who slugged you?
I found this. Just a book of matches, huh?
Yeah.
But see how the edges are crimped? Johnny Wilbur always did that. He's nervous. All the time he's fidgeting.
Yeah, I know. He sniffs all the time and goes, and grabs at his pants.
That's right. He might as well have left his calling card for me. It was a Johnny Wilbur, all right.
Okay, Caruso. But before you get too far in, I'll tell you something. I don't go in for it, bodyguarding.
What's a bodyguard? Here's what you do, Ballingam. You find that punk. You see what he's got in mind. He beat me up once. Maybe that's all he wants. Or maybe he's coming back to put a knife in me. Just find out and let me know.
I looked out at the fishing boats along the pier, gently nudging each other, while Michelangelo Caruso told me that Johnny had a blonde wife named Christine, who ran the Albatross Cafe. Albatross, now where have I heard that before? And that Giles Edwards lived alone in a house at 43 Terminal Road. That was enough for a starter. So I said I'd keep in touch and left. As I walked off the pier, the blinking neon light from the sign across the street made a swirling green veil out of the mist between me and my car. So I almost got up to it before I saw her, leaning lazily against the door on the driver's side. A girl in a tight black silk dress, cheap fur jacket, and double ankle strap spikes. She smiled with one corner of her red lips as I walked up to her and stopped.
Hello, sugar.
Hi, you sweetheart.
The name's Ginger.
Oh, that's too bad. Ginger always gives me hives.
Oh, don't be like that, Steve.
The name's Brute.
I like Steve better, Steve.
All right, then it's Steve. And I'll call you Turmeric. I'm not allergic to that.
It's not as spicy either. So what did Michelangelo Caruso have to say?
Ah, well, we were talking business, baby, that's all. Say, tell me, which way is it to Terminal Road?
Intersects about 10 blocks down.
Uh-huh.
What's the number?
43.
Oh, you want to turn right then. The cozy, secluded one by the water.
Well, thanks, sweetheart. Say, you know this Giles Edwards, huh?
Yeah. Well, he's around all the time. He's nothing.
Well, I'll see you around, baby.
So long, Steve.
So long, Turmeric. Yeah, you want something?
Are you Giles Edwards? Michelangelo Caruso's man?
Yeah. So what?
I'm Ballingam, private detective. I'm looking for Johnny Wilbur.
Well, why'd you come here?
Well, because you're a friend of his. Yeah, the only one from what I hear.
Well, I haven't seen him, see? I haven't heard from him, see? So I'm afraid I can't help you, see? Yeah, see?
Now, wait a minute. Let's go inside. I'd like to talk about the kid.
Hey, now, look, you can't...
He put himself in a pretty hopeless situation coming back here to Brooklyn. What do you think?
Because he's got enemies like Michelangelo Caruso and Moose.
Yeah, the Moose. So what's he gonna do? Fight it out or be smart and leave town?
Listen, private investigator, I told you once, I don't know, because I haven't seen him, see?
You're a liar, see? I saw him last night, see? Yeah, see?
You're working for him, aren't you? Get out! Beat it!
Don't shove!
I'll shove harder than that, brother.
Okay, Edwards. We'll try it the hard way. Now, where's Johnny?
I don't know.
Come on, get up! Get up! You saw him last night, didn't you? Well, didn't you?
All right. I saw him, see? I saw him, yeah. I saw him about 11:30, yeah. I was standing on the dock, see? On Michelangelo's launch when I heard a commotion, see? And I looked up. And there he was. I saw him. I saw Johnny jump down the stairs from Michelangelo's office. Yeah. And he ran off the pier. I haven't seen him since. And that's the truth.
Okay. Sorry. I had to make you squeal on a friend. Now, where's this Albatross Cafe? Albatross. Now, where have I heard that before?
Albatross?
Yeah.
It's on the corner of Front and Castle Avenue. But look, can you leave Chris out of this? Well, she's a good kid. She's been through a lot already, see?
I think Johnny's going to leave her out of it. Besides, it's for her own good that I want to see her.
I suppose you're right. But I'll tell you something for your own good, Ballingham. If you find Johnny Wilbur, see, don't push him too hard, see? He was tough before he left. Now he'll have rawhide for brains. Depend on it, see?